I've got life's tough questions for you.
Hey listeners, I'm the Strayer Guy, and this is Life's Tough Questions, the show where people trade up survival items just to blaze up. Our first question asks us, would you rather? Anytime you eat meats or seafoods, it must be pureed to a pulp? Or eat meat how you want it, but all other foods must be pureed to a pulp? Our first comment comes from Amy, who says, definitely have meat or seafood pureed. Could easily go without meat and seafood if I had to, but couldn't handle the bulk of my diet being consumed through a straw. Ew. And Ty says, in terms of efficiency, I would save a huge amount of time eating things in puree form. However, I enjoy the tactile satisfaction of cutting meat before eating it. Therefore, I shall opt for the second. And Andrew points out, it's so convenient to puree your food. Saves time, because chewing your food takes a lot of time and energy. I think I would puree all the other foods outside the meat bracket. When I think about pureed foods, I think of my favourite kind of foods, and actually, they're all pretty much pureed themselves. Things like mashed potato, mushy peas, hummus, custard, soup. Well, I can easily deal with that. But then I think of things like pureed burritos, pureed pasta, pureed pizza. And you see, I rank texture quite highly, pretty much as high as I rank kind of like taste when it comes to food. I kind of put texture and taste hand in hand. So that hits really hard. It hits really hard when I think about that kind of problem. And mostly due to that reason, I think I'll have to puree my meats. I'd probably cut back on the amount of meat I eat in doing so too. Not completely, but yeah, I just don't want to puree everything. Much like Amy pointed out, just the bulk of the diet being puree. How about you guys? Pureed pizza, anyone? Next, we have a question in the form of a list of objects. That says, you are stranded on a deserted island. You can choose 4 of the following. And we have a big list here, so I'll just start reading from the top. We've got a tarp, sunscreen, toilet paper, pot, iPod, hiking boots, hand saw, flare gun, inflatable raft, flashlight, insect repellent, hammock, compass, mirror, vitamins, water purifier, fishing rod, rope, hunting rifle, 5 ounces of weed, first aid kit, tent, knife, matches, and a volleyball. Gee, okay, such a list here. Okay, so basic survival to my understanding would be that you need shelter, water, fire, and food. Probably in that order too. And with water being the most important in the end though. Most answers here have chosen tents and water filter pumps. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, in many situations, if you had to build a shelter, not only would it probably be less efficient than the tent, it would take up a lot of time and energy that you would need for doing other tasks. Same goes for that water pump. There are many ways to bore water or filter, catch some water with various objects. Hey, you may even be lucky with a fresh river supply. But, you can't guarantee that. And a water filtration system would let you have clean, fresh drinking water, and it would save you getting sick, which, that would just send you in a further spiral towards death. As for the next few items, it seemed to float around things like the knife, the first aid kit, matches, boots, and vitamins. And all of the posters had pretty valid reasons for suggesting each of them. For myself, I think it would be the knife and the first aid kit. Because the knife has many uses, that especially in that kind of survival situation. And a good first aid kit usually comes with lots of many various things for emergency situations. It's not just injuries, there's all kinds of things in a good first aid kit. However, all of these great reasonings and ideas, there was one answer that was a bit out there and a little bit different from the rest of it, and that would have to be Paul's answer. And Paul says he would pick, first, the volleyball, so he doesn't get lonely. Second, the knife, in case he gets really lonely and has to cut a hole in the volleyball. Third, the weed, so he can hallucinate that he's been rescued. And number 4, the matches, so he can light up the weed. Yeah, just give up on survival altogether and 420 blaze it. That's... Gee. Alright, what would you guys take with you? Many of these answers kind of float around the survival on the island, but what about the rescue side of things? Would that kind of change what you're bringing along? Let us know in the comments below. Now comes a question about holidays, which asks, would you rather spend the holidays alone or spend the holidays with a very large group of extended family and friends, constantly suggesting activities, and you'll have zero downtime? And straight up, our poll shows that most people would rather have the large group. Much like this answer from Michael here that says, zero downtime sounds horrendous. Yet, border closures have taught me to make the most of any family time. And yeah, it makes me think how if people here would have answered differently a year ago, before COVID made us all stay away from each other. But a couple of people did say alone, including Reddit user Snot My Real Name, who says, alone, hands down. But that might be due to the quality of my family more than the desire to be alone. That's actually a bit sad. Myself personally, family time. Family time. I'm probably one of those people that causes people to want the alone time because I'm making their no downtime and I'm putting in more activities and more adventures and more games and more things. So I'm probably one of the people, if anyone answered alone, they're probably looking at me and going, yeah, they need a bit of downtime from me. How about you, viewers? Can family get too overwhelming for you that you'd rather be home alone on your holidays? Let us know below. Okay, now to our final poll, which we cast last week, which asked, how much coriander do you like? A lot? A little? None? Or I wish I could eradicate coriander from this planet? Now, I made my stance on this very clear last week, as I hate coriander. Not necessarily the taste as such as the overuse and the use of it as an ingredient and not just an addition to flavour food. For example, eating a tasty rice paper roll that is 30% coriander. That's like 29% more than it needs to be. Or when a garnish becomes a forest in my pasta. Ugh. But enough of me. Let's look at that poll. And as we can see, that liking it a lot actually won the day. However, if we combined the Reddit page too, then a little wins. And more importantly, the polite people that just said not, but didn't want to eradicate it, if we could have just combined together, we could have won. We should have just banded together and eradicated this coriander. Anyway, Alan commented, not liking coriander is a generic trait and demonstrates your inferior genes. To which I replied to Alan, or perhaps that of those who have evolved beyond eating the bottom dregs of a lake like carp. Yeah, that's my view on this. The war on coriander continues. But for now, the votes have spoken. Which brings us to the question for next week, which asks, would you rather be stuck in an elevator for 24 hours with no communication to the outside and no electronic devices, alone, or with two somewhat slobs with unhygienic habits? Ugh. Okay, leave your answers in either the comment section here or head over to the Facebook group and comment and place your vote, and we'll see who's in the majority next episode. Reminder, that Reddit page is there, so if you don't want to post on Facebook and would rather be anonymous, you can head over to the Reddit page at r/Life's Tough Questions. So if you're keen to possibly see your answer pop up, then like, comment, and subscribe, and get posting and replying with more of life's tough questions. I'm the Australia guy, and I don't have a clever sign-off.
Would you rather stay inside for all your life, or fly around the air 100 miles as a knife? I wonder what it is that you would do. That's why I've got life's tough questions for you.